So this is a beginner's tutorial on crocheting. You have your crochet hook and some yarn ready. We're going to start making our first loop. The first loop, if you just lay it out flat on the table like this, making a sort of a cross figure, and then pulling the yarn through the circle, it's just an easy way to make your first loop. There are different ways, people do it differently. This is an easy way if you're a beginner. Get your hook through the first loop. And make sure there's a bit of tension, but not too much. You don't want it too tight. The next thing you do is chain your stitches. You pull the yarn around your hook, or you would call it yarn over it. Get the yarn over your hook, put it through the loop, and create another loop. Pull the yarn through the loop and create another loop. And put it through, and then you've chained your stitches. Now to crochet, we have to go back onto our chain. So we're skipping the first loop, and then we're sticking the hook in the first leg of the V, yarning over, pulling the yarn through, and then pulling the yarn through again to join the last two stitches that were on the hook. So we're going to do this again. Make sure that you're going to put your needle through one leg of the V that you haven't already crocheted. Yarn over, pulling it through, and pulling it through again to join the two stitches. Put your hook through the yarn over, and joining the two. So insert your yarn through one leg of the stitches or the chain, yarn over, and pulling your yarn through the two remaining stitches. And you keep doing this until you get to the very end of your chain. So you keep putting the hook in one leg of the V, yarning over, pulling the yarn through, and joining the two stitches on your hook, and then adding at the very end, you add one chain. So don't forget that. When you get to the end, add one chain. Now for your second, or actually third row, and every row following after this, we're going to put the needle or the hook through both legs of the V. So last row we only did one leg of the V, and then now we're going to put the needle or the hook under all the legs of the V, so that both legs of the V. So there's two V's on your hook, pulling the yarn through and joining the last two stitches on your hook. Pushing the needle through the two legs of the V, pulling your yarn through and joining the two stitches on your hook. And you again keep doing this until you get to the end of the chain, and then you chain one more at the end. So, and you do that so that your work doesn't form a trapeze or like a pyramid shape, or so it stays sort of straight instead of a bit wonky. So you've done the extra stitch at the end, then you can turn your work. And then you keep on doing the same as you did in row 3, putting your yarn under, or your hook under both legs of the V, pulling your yarn through and joining the last two stitches on the hook, putting it under, yarning over, and joining the last two stitches. And then what you're actually doing is the single crochet, as they would call it in the US. In the UK, they call this double crochet, which is extremely complicated. So don't really think about it. Just try and remember that this is single crochet, because it to me is the most logical terminology. And then when you get the end, you do an extra chain, turning your work round, and then you just keep going.